another video. And, well, it's been about a month and a half, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Just have had a lot going on lately. But I thought I owed it to you guys to make a Super Bowl end of season live stream to at least put out my thoughts. So that's it, guys. That's it. Football season's done. There is no more chapters to write to the end of this journey of 2023-2024. And we are on to the latter part of the year where there aren't a lot of holidays, where there isn't a lot to really do with free time. Of course, summertime is coming up, so for a lot of people that's not necessarily true, but for diehard football fans, this is definitely the mini that we're going to be scrambling and huffing and puffing looking for things to do on the weekends. And it's going to take a few weeks for me to get adjusted in. Like I said, I am a huge football fan. I've already gotten over the fact that the Saints have been done for a month, so it's not even getting over them. It's just the principle of getting over football not being here anymore for 7 months. There are a lot of people, as like myself, who use the NFL and prioritize it as a hobby, to where it's kind of like a getaway. You know, it's kind of like my hobby of choice. It's my drug of choice. And with that being gone, it's that cycle that comes once again of frustration, or not say frustration. Well, yeah, frustration of finding something to do at once. Of course, there's the NBA, and they got baseball coming up, everything. And I understand where everybody's coming from when they offer those alternatives, where they give you, why don't you watch basketball? Why don't you watch baseball? I get that, but nothing, and I mean nothing, in related to sports can fill that void that the NFL and professional football, or even college football in general. Yeah, although that could be a preference, that is something that I have as my own personal preference. I just feel like it's such a rarity. There's so many less games than all the other major sports. It's like every game has the making of a gathering or a party or a reason to celebrate, a reason to get together and eat good food. It's you don't see that with any other sport. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy food to cook for every Pelicans game. I'm not going to go out my way to buy food to prepare or food to create to have people over to join me for an MLB game or an NBA game or an NHL game. But for the NFL, considering it's a once a week thing and the games are so much more meaningful, it creates that community, it creates that celebration, it creates that purpose, and that's what makes the NFL and football in general so worth watching. It's literally a journey that you are forced to be patient for, and you are forced to cherish. Because in the NBA, you lose a game, oh, well, we play in 2 more nights, so it's all good. You lose 3 games, oh, well, there's 80-something games, so, it's all good. In the NFL, you lose 2 or 3 games, that can make or break a season. That's why football season for me is such chaos, and it's a journey. It's a journey. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish it was longer. I wish they had 25 games. Unfortunately, they don't. So, yeah, the season has come to an end. I'm going to miss football. 7 months without it. For a lot of us, it's kind of a scapegoat. It's something that we can kind of just put all our problems to the side and just enjoy in the present moment. And whenever it ends, it's like, what do I do with myself? What do I do with myself? How do I spend my Sunday? You know, there's not a lot of holidays coming up. You know, Easter's probably the next biggest holiday. You know, football season and all the holidays simultaneously intersect. So what I mean by that is you're going to have Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and even Mardi Gras for people like us, you know, down here in New Orleans. All those holidays intersect. The biggest holidays of the year are during football season. So whenever you don't have a lot of holidays going on and you don't have football, it's like, dang, man, we're in like the boring time of the year. And unfortunately, the boring time of the year lasts most of the year, unfortunately. That's where people start digging in their piggy banks and trying to go on vacations and making things out of nothing, you know. So definitely going to miss football, and these next 7 months cannot come any slower. So let's just hope this goes by fast. Can I hibernate till next season? I wish. What's going on, Snakebite? What's going on, Who Dat? What is going on, Jerry? Hope you all are good. Hope everybody had a productive and entertaining football season and you enjoyed, even though the New Orleans Saints weren't all that great. I mean, they were in the playoff race all year long. I guess that's the only positive I can say. Jerry asks, how do I feel about Clint Kubiak? I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, there's no questions asked about that. There's no other way to put that. I think it's a complete upgrade by a complete upgrade of Pete Carmichael, and I feel a lot better about somebody that has experience winning than I do with a coordinator in Pete Carmichael that literally relied on Sean Payton to get them through the thick and thin. I mean, as you saw, Pete Carmichael did nothing without a legit head coach. And, you know, I like the opportunity. I like that there was a change. I enjoy that. And this is going to be a good sample size, a good sample test to see if Allen is worthy of being a head coach. I mean, no other way to put that. If the Saints do not make improvement this year, and a lot of people may ask, what does that improvement look like? How do you measure that? What is considered improvement in your eyes? Personally, I think you got to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. That's, to me, what the standard of improvement is. You got to make the playoffs and you got to win a playoff game. And if you don't do either of those things, hell, if you don't make if you don't win a playoff game, I mean, you could win a terrible division and get in at 9-8 or 8-9, but if you don't win a playoff game, I think there needs to be consideration of heading a new direction in relation to the head coach. Now, we've been calling for Dennis Allen's job all year long. What's up, Tom? How you doing? There's no arguments about that, but now you got a new offensive coordinator. You got what you wanted. Everything happened at the right time. You got a new offensive coordinator. There's no excuses going forward. There's no excuses. You can't point a finger at Pete Carmichael. He's gone. So Dennis Allen, it's all on you, dude. If the New Orleans Saints do not make a drastic improvement, and I mean, from that, I mean, I want to see 11 wins. I want to see a playoff win. If you don't make a drastic improvement, then you got to go, dude. You got to go. You do. I hear you, Unknown. I also put my money on the 49ers, and that's another subject that we're going to shift gears to, the Super Bowl. What are my takeaways from the Super Bowl? Number one, the 49ers will not win a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan as the head coach. They will not. They will not. It's been proven over and over and over and over and over and over and over again that this guy comes from a culture of incompletion. You play great between the 60 minutes, but in the final minutes of the game, whenever it matters the most, it's like you forget. You get cold feet. You forget how to coach. You forget how to play. I don't think that is an anomaly. I mean, the 49ers have now done it 4 out of the last 5 years. You make a Super Bowl back in 2020. You got a 10-point lead in the final 8 minutes of the game, and you lose by 11 points somehow. How are you leading by 10 in a Super Bowl with 8 minutes to go, and you end up losing the game by 11 points? Make that make sense. A few years later, you go into the fourth quarter up 17-7 in the NFC Championship game, and you end up losing that game. Make that make sense. And I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. This year, you have a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl, and you end up losing that game. Make that make sense. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. The guy, I don't know what else to say about him. But I do feel that the 49ers, they're going to have to do some soul searching themselves in relation to head coaching. They got a talented roster. There's no question about that. You keep on repeating the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. And although you're getting to these big playoff games, you're getting to the Super Bowl, you're getting to the NFC Championship, although you are doing all that, it's clearly showing your inability to close the deal and win that Super Bowl. So if you told me that I was going to have a head coach that would always get to the NFC Championship, always get to the Super Bowl, but never win a Super Bowl, why would I want to hire that coach? Why would I want to hire that coach? Because that's what it's all about. I'd rather have a coach that I knew nothing about. And if you told me it's hit or miss, he could win you a Super Bowl, but he might not even ever get you to the playoffs. If I had to choose between that kind of coach and Kyle Shanahan, who I knew would always get me to the playoffs, always had a chance to get to the Super Bowl, but would never win me a Super Bowl, I think I'm going to go with the other coach. I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, yeah, Brute Saint. That is correct, dude. Oh, yeah, forget that. He comes from the directly from the roots of Shanahan. So let's hope that doesn't come over here. Even though, I mean, we've been blowing leads forever. This past year alone, we had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter of a game, and the other team didn't have any points. Yet we still found a way to lose that game. So I mean, we know how to blow big leads. And in fact, I'll take that a step further. You look at the last few seasons. You look at the last 3 or 4 seasons with the Saints. They've had double-digit leads in a lot of games and have lost those games. Last year, you lose in Tampa Bay. You're up 16-3 with 3 minutes to go, and you end up losing that game somehow. The year before, you're up 21-10 over the Giants. You end up losing that game. And what's funny about all 3 of those games, the last 3 seasons, is those are literally the games that cost us the playoffs. We missed the playoffs by about a game each of the last 3 seasons, and there were, I mean, you should have beat the Giants at home. You should have beat Tampa Bay on the road last year, and you should have beat Green Bay on the road this past season. No excuse. You win all 3 of those games, you're in the playoffs all 3 of those seasons. So, I mean, the Saints definitely have had their share of blowing big leads. Other than that, though, Super Bowl wise, what is my opinion on the game as a whole? What's up, John? How you doing, bro? What's up, sports critic? A 10-point lead isn't much. Technically, a 10-point lead, it's not much, okay? However, you gotta, as a team, you gotta look at the principle of we have the upper hand here. We have a possession up on them. We have a possession up on them. We have an advantage here. So mentally, you got to know, like, okay, we're up 10 points. Therefore, this is all in our control. As long as we do what we need to do going forward, we're going to win this ball game. As long as we do what we need to do going forward, we're going to win this ball game. You can look at having a 10-point lead and saying, well, it's not that much, and you're right, it's not that much. However, fate is simply in your control whenever you have a double-digit lead, because they're chasing you by a possession. If each team goes down the field and scores a touchdown for the rest of the game, you're going to win the game because you have that double-digit edge. Therefore, to me, blowing double-digit leads is inexcusable. It is. It is. In big games especially. It's inexcusable. So now my thoughts on the Super Bowl as a whole. Listen, I put my money on the Niners. I will never do that again. I promise you, I will never, ever, ever put my money on the 49ers again in my life. They cost me money a few years ago in the other Super Bowl. They cost me money this year. I will never put my money on that team again. And in fact, and just to kind of make a point of it, it seems like every time you need the 49ers to win a game, they lose. But whenever you need the 49ers to lose a game, they win. For example, whenever and shouts out to John Moore, he got me the ticket, he got me in the stadium. Went to see the Saints beat the Falcons the final week of the regular season in 21. Needed the 49ers to lose to the Rams. 49ers were down 17 points for most of that game. They end up winning. But yet, whenever I bet on them to win a Super Bowl, they lose. It's like, bro, I can't win with that team, so I will never bet on them again. Never, ever. So personally, in relation to that Super Bowl a few nights ago, as a game, like as a person who loves a good game, and the drama and the length of it, and how close it came down, I thought it was one of the greater Super Bowls that I've ever watched. I mean, I've never seen an overtime Super Bowl where the first team scores a field goal and the other team goes down and wins it with a touchdown. Never seen that. So that was cool to see. That was really good to see. The first half of the game wasn't that entertaining. I'll be completely honest. It was not that entertaining. As the game went on, you did see things kind of sprout out a little bit, and you saw some good games. You saw a good game ultimately in the Super Bowl. as far as all the people that are talking about, the Super Bowl being fixed and everything, and, yeah, it's rigged in favor of the Chiefs, it's rigged, let me tell you something, okay? I can't prove, and nobody can prove that this is all fixed, okay? Nobody can prove that. You can't. And there were no indications in that game to tell me that game was rigged. You look at the game as a whole. The 49ers fumbled the ball twice. Chiefs turned the ball over twice. The 49ers, when they got the ball in overtime to start the overtime, were bailed out and given an automatic first down on a defensive holding call on Kansas City. The 49ers, they were given a first down. They were given. The officials could have ignored that, and San Francisco would have had to punt the ball to Kansas City. But, they got a drive extended where it should have been fourth down. So, the 49ers had opportunities. It's not like they didn't have opportunities. They had multiple opportunities. That defense could not stop anybody at the end of the game. That defense is supposed to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. They couldn't stop anybody at the end of the game. Couldn't do it. Now, the media, in relation to the media and the celebrities and all that, is that annoying? Yeah, it is, okay? Let me tell you something. I have no problem with Taylor Swift. I don't. Absolutely no problem with the woman. It's not her fault everybody wants to follow her around. She's arguably the biggest pop star in the world. Old day Taylor Swift, I'll be completely honest, I actually liked her older music. Like, whenever she was country, I did enjoy some of that music. The transition, not really many songs that I enjoy. But nonetheless, hey, listen, she got where she got. Not her fault. The NFL, they struck gold. They're looking at it as an opportunity to make money, and hey, they did that. But I thought that the Chiefs getting to the Super Bowl was good enough for that. The NFL got exactly what they wanted. The Chiefs got to the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl. The NFL's got their money. They're getting all the viewers. They're getting, all the eyes on them. They got what they wanted. So there's no need to fix the Super Bowl at that point. The San Francisco can win. And the NFL would still be getting more attention because they'd be looking at, how is Taylor Swift reacting? How are Travis and Taylor relationship-wise after they lost? They're still going to get all that drama. In fact, they might have gotten more money if the 49ers would have won, just for that simple fact that they'd be getting all the drama and all the viewership from the media. So I don't think the game was fixed. I just think the better, more experienced team won the game. Let me say the more experienced team, because I don't think Kansas City was better. The more experienced team won the game. And the 49ers, with some terrible injuries on defense to Dre Greenlaw, and I think they were missing an offensive line piece as well, and that proved to be costly because in overtime on third down, Brandon Ayuk was wide open in the end zone, and Brock Purdy couldn't get it to him because he was bull rushed. So I thought that the Niners had opportunities to win. They had chances to win. They could have got a first down at the end of regulation and ran down all the clock and gave Kansas City no time to score. They had opportunities. They just didn't. Couldn't finish the game. I'm not upset with Taylor Swift. I don't mind her. She's just doing what she feels is the right thing to do. You go support your loved one, your significant other. while he's playing in the Super Bowl. What I don't like about the media and what I don't like about all that is that she has freaking Ice Spice sitting next to her, and there's a whole debate on that, why she was there. But you got Ice Spice sitting there, and you got her manager sitting. Like, what are they doing there? Like, what place do they hold there? They're not Kansas City Chiefs fans. If they had their own little suite and they were doing their own little thing, I could respect that because you're a celebrity, you sing, and you're at the Super Bowl. I can respect that. But it's the fact that you're fiending off of Taylor Swift's clout. Like, you're getting all the attention and you're benefiting from her clout because she tagged you along, because she felt like she had to tag you along over some controversial things. To me, I thought that was cringy. Ice Spice does not know anything. It was clear she didn't know what was going on in the game. Clear. And I can guarantee you that she was not no Kansas City Chiefs fan throughout her life. I can guarantee you that. But there she is in the suite, cheering and celebrating for the Kansas City Chiefs when they win the Super. Her and her agent or manager, they're in the booth with the suite with Taylor Swift, celebrating whenever the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Like, you were not no Kansas City Chiefs fan before this. You probably couldn't even tell me who the quarterback was 10 years ago for Kansas City. I know Taylor Swift wasn't a Kansas City fan either, but she's cheering for them with all due respect to her significant other who's playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's understandable. Then you got Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, also there celebrating and cheering. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, I know Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are really good friends and all this other stuff, and I get all that. But at the same time, it's like, were you cheering for Kansas City whenever they had Matt Castle as the quarterback? Saints fans, y'all remember that 2012 game when we were up 24-6, week 3, and we ended up losing 27-24 in overtime to that terrible Kansas City Chiefs team? That was the bounty season, by the way. Was Ice Spice watching the game whenever the Saints in Kansas City were playing in that game? Was she cheering on Matt Castle to victory and Jamal Charles and Romeo Crennel, the head coach at the time? Was Blake Lively doing that? No. They probably didn't even know the Kansas City Chiefs existed back then. And that's the whole thing with me and the media in the NFL. It's like, it legitimizes the fan, the actual diehard fan. People that have been cheering for these teams since they were little. And I have no problem with Kim Kardashian and Kanye being at the Super Bowl. I saw that they were there. I have no problem with Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton being there. I mean, it's typical that you're going to see celebrities at the... I have no problem with LeBron. You're going to see celebrities at the Super Bowl. That's common. That's what you would expect. It's not that. It's the principle that you got people that are, number one, benefiting from other people's clout, like Ice Spice was with Taylor Swift. And then on top of that, whenever Kansas City won, whenever they ultimately won the game, they're in there celebrating. They're in there celebrating like they've been cheering for the Chiefs for years. Like they've been a diehard fan for years, which is not the case at all. Like I said, Ice Spice probably had no idea who the Kansas City Chiefs were 10 years ago. But there she is in the booth with Taylor Swift because Taylor decided she wanted to do something good for somebody and have her tag along with her manager. And there they are just cheering. Woo, go Chiefs, yeah, we won. We won. We? Who's we? You didn't win nothing. That's like, I hope that never, I say this, but then again, I hope that never happens to the Saints, where they get a celebrity, where they get one of our players dates a big celebrity, and then all of a sudden you got all these other celebrities cheering for us, as if they were cheering for us 10 years ago, or as if they were cheering for us back whenever we were terrible. I don't want that to happen. Like, it just illegitimizes the actual NFL fan. Like, the 80% that are diehard fans that love our teams and want them to win because they're a part of our life, and we've been cheering for them for years. It's like it's like you're invalidating our feelings, and you're invalidating our passion, because you got all these celebrities up there hanging out together and cheering for the best team, for the team that's actually winning. You know, and the Patriots, you can say the same thing about the Patriots. Like, there are some diehard Kansas City Chiefs fans that have been cheering for that team for years, even during the years where they've sucked. Like in 2012 and 2010, 11, whenever Kansas City was terrible, and they had Matt Castle as the quarterback, and Todd Haley was the head coach, and Dexter McCluster was a wide receiver there or whatever, and Dwayne Bowe was a wide receiver. Can Ice Spice or Blake Lively or anybody who claims to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan, can they name any of those players for the Kansas City Chiefs? Probably not. Probably not. But there they are in the freaking suite celebrating whenever they won the Super Bowl. Like, I think that part of the NFL to me is just like, it's annoying. It's annoying. Like, what are you doing there? Like, you have no place there. Like, what exactly are you doing there? Like, in what world do you belong in that position? What's up, Billy? John Moore, I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh, yeah, Brute Saint. I'm ready for it, dude. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the Super Bowl to be here next year. I'm already thinking about what I want to do. Like, do I want to go out to the city to watch the game? Or do I want to just stay inside? Just lay low. That's actually something that I'm thinking about. Like, do I really want to go out to the city and watch the game? Because with me and football, dude, like, I look at you already know that if you were to go out to the city for the Super Bowl, that it's going to be crazy. You're going to see a lot of people out there. It's going to be nuts. It doesn't matter who's playing in the game. You go out to the French Quarter, you go downtown for the game, go watch it in any kind of bar, it's going to be, like, insane. I think the culture of going out and living the city life and going out into bars and being social, and on the other hand, you got watching football, enjoying a sport because it's a hobby, are two different things. I don't know if I can mix those two things together. Like, even if the Saints went to the Super Bowl, like, even then I'd be like, bro, like, do I really want to go out to the city and watch this? Like, or do I want to lay low, stay inside? I don't know, dude. I don't know. So that's going to be interesting. Back whenever they had the Super Bowl here in 2012, I was too young to do any of that. I will definitely go to the NFL experience for sure. I'll definitely go to the NFL experience, but in relation to going to the actual, like watching the game out in the city, I don't know, dude. I think I'd have to have, I'd have to know people first and foremost. I'd have to probably have off the next day. So we're gonna have to see about that. I might go out there though. Traffic's gonna be crappy though. It's gonna be very expensive wherever you go, and you're probably gonna have to take off the next few days. So just a heads up. Now, if the Saints are there, they're not going to be. Can you imagine Dennis Allen coaching in a Super Bowl? I cannot. I can't. But if the Saints by some miracle were there, yeah, definitely. I would have to force myself to go out there, because there's no way that I can not be out there with a chance to celebrate in the city if we were to win a Super Bowl. So I would have to force myself to go out there. Doesn't necessarily mean that I would want to, but I would feel like I'm missing out on a lot if I do not go out to the city and the Saints are in the Super Bowl and you don't know if they're going to get there again. So I would have to really force myself to go out there. And I'd probably make those plans ahead of time. But overall, I thought this year's game was good. I think the media is annoying. But, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. Kansas City is an experienced team. Everybody, and I mean everybody, would probably agree that this was Kansas City's weakest team. Out of all the years that they've been together the last 6 years, I would definitely say that this was the weakest Kansas City Chiefs team. And it was good enough to win a Super Bowl. So it's like, this was arguably the weakest team that Kansas City's had. The best team that Kansas City's had could arguably be during the COVID year when they went 14-2. And they lost the Super Bowl that year. So it's like, make that make sense. Greg, I would definitely disagree with that. I don't think the Saints are that close. I think they're just, I mean, personally, if I had to put money on it, I would say that the Saints are going to be mediocre for years to come. I wouldn't say that you can categorize them with the top teams in the NFL. I don't think you can do that. Billy, you say you're going to be out there? Out here for the Super Bowl next year? If by some miracle I get enough money to go to it, that'd be pretty cool, but probably not. Those things are going to be thousands of dollars, and I don't think it's worth really. Well, if the Saints are in it, that's different. But I'd have to kind of start saving right now, putting money to the side every single week. And also, and just another, and people are going to have opinions all over the place about this. I personally, Travis Kelce has always had a strong personality. Always had a strong personality. I've known that. I feel like it's coming more onto the surface now more than ever because of the fact that he's dating the most famous pop star in the world. But in my opinion, I don't think that he's acting any more different than he's always acted. I've always looked at Travis Kelce as this douchebag type of player. And people can disagree with me or whatever. To me, he's been like this since he's come into the league. Back in 2016, when the Chiefs lost to the Steelers in the playoffs, he comes on and says, "Oh, these officials shouldn't even be working at Foot Locker." Whenever the Chiefs lost that divisional playoff game, that personality that he's carried along with him has lasted for years. This is nothing new because he's dating the most famous pop star in the world. Travis Kelce has always been this arrogant, cocky individual, rub you the wrong way kind of guy. Like, he's always been this douchebag type of guy. It's just more annoying that he's dating Taylor Swift now. That's the thing that people are probably realizing, that it's just more annoying that he's dating Taylor Swift. So now he's got an even bigger ego. He's got a bigger chip on his shoulder. And he's more likely to act out even more to prove a point. Because he's got to stay on his toes. You're dating arguably the most famous singer in the world. Most famous artist in the world as of today. She's got 10 times more money than you got. She doesn't need you. She can date anybody she wants. You would have to imagine that in Travis Kelce's mind, considering he already has an arrogant demeanor, you'd have to assume that it's just going to get worse over time. And there's been glimpses of it. You go up to your coach and you yell all in his face, and then you push him. And you know he has health issues. Andy Reid, 60-something years old, he's had health issues before. But you don't hesitate to go and yell in his ear and shove him a little bit because he didn't call a play that you were involved in. And you don't hesitate during the AFC Championship game to go throw Justin Tucker's helmet across the field like a douchebag, like a bully. So to me, I've already noticed that Travis Kelce was this kind of guy, was this kind of arrogant douchebag type of player. But I think it's becoming more onto the surface now, more than ever. So from what I hear, though, he does charitable works for the community and all that. That's all good and everything. And if he does, props to him. That would make me dislike him a little less. But I just feel like he's not humble. I feel like his arrogance is just way over his head. And when the Saints play Kansas City next year, I really hope we knock him on his ass. I do. I hope he gets so freaking mad that he wants to fight somebody on our team and he gets ejected. That's what I hope happens. Now, the Saints are probably not going to beat Kansas City. I mean, you got Dennis Allen as the head coach. You're probably not going to beat Kansas City. But it would be fun to imagine that of all the teams in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints could be the one to lock them down and piss them off. That is my hope. That's my hope. So, like I said, guys, it's all that, playing Kansas City next year, Super Bowl in New Orleans next year. What am I gonna be doing for that Super Bowl? Am I gonna be out in the city? Am I gonna be home throwing a Super Bowl party? What am I gonna be doing? Do I want to think about maybe saving up enough money to go to it? Like, all that. That's all things that we're not going to be able to explore for 7 months, because we're in the more grimmer, we're in the grim days of the year now, with no football, no actual holidays coming up. It's a little grim these days. It's gonna take a little bit to find something to do to occupy your time, to replace what football season had been providing for all these months. Every football fan struggles with it. It's easy to say distract yourself, go do something productive and all that, but I've been doing productive stuff even during the season. Taking care of my schooling, trying to get back into the gym, and I did get back into the gym for a little bit. I just fell off because all these holidays that just came up. But trying to give yourself a little grace and have fun. That's kind of what I'm trying to do as well. So, maybe on Sundays, instead of staying inside watching football or whatever, maybe go to the zoo, maybe go and explore nature, maybe take a drive out of Baton Rouge and go to the mall in Louisiana, something to kind of make a day out of, so you're not just sitting there, I wish football season was back, I want to avoid that this year. There's been so many years where I've sat there and been like, oh, I wish football was back, I wish football was here, whined about it, but